Jaguar Wright just exposed what 50 Cent allegedly left out of the Diddy documentary. And if what she's saying is true, the entire narrative we've been fed might be missing the darkest pieces. She claims the doc barely scratched the surface, and the one moment that shocked her the most involved someone who's been silent for over 30 years. But here's the part that'll make you rethink everything. According to Jaguar, this wasn't just about telling the truth. It was about protecting some very powerful people who were there the whole time.
That Kirk Burrow was saying at the end of episode 4 when he first, dropped the bomb, that he had been essayed by Diddy. It's Kirk Burrows.
Yeah.
Who has been here since the beginning.
That time, I didn't think nothing of it, that he was spending the night with Kirk Burrows either every Wednesday night. He got a whole girl at home, but he's spending the night with Kirk Burrows. He's staying at Kirk's house. Like, yo, all right, cool. Didn't think nothing of it. And then Kirk had made a mention to some people over the years that him and Puff used to wake up and pray together. And I'm, in my mind, I know he's talking about saying prayers and all that shit like that. But in my other mind, I'm thinking you waking up with a dude praying? Shit is going on. And there was a situation that somebody said long time ago in the office, they caught Kirk giving Puff in the office.
When Jaguar first started talking about the documentary, she made it clear she already knew most of what was coming. She's been watching this story unfold from the sidelines for years, so nothing really surprised her, except for one thing. For the first time ever, Kirk Burrows, someone who's been around since day one, allegedly came forward with claims that Diddy had abused him. And that's where it gets messy, because Kirk wasn't just any associate, he was one of Diddy's closest partners back in the early Bad Boy days. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has talked about how Diddy used to spend every Wednesday night at Kirk's place, even though he had a girlfriend at home. At the time, nobody thought much of it, but then Kirk allegedly told people over the years that he and Puff used to wake up and pray together, and that's when people started asking questions.
He's telling the world now. He's telling the world now he's forced to do this.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why he ain't come out sooner. He also alleging that Diddy, forced him to give him jobs.
Oh my God. So you telling me that in the lawsuit, and I seen it, man, that he forced him to sing in the mic. And it wasn't in the studio.
Yeah, that's what he claiming.
Yo, bro, it's crazy. It's real crazy that Kirk is alleging all these things that people always said back then. I remember when me and you had a conversation about this years ago, and you asked me, was I going to talk about it? I said, no, I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to let him talk about it. I didn't know he was going to do this lawsuit and put this shit in there. But I told you years ago that I'm not going to talk about it until he talks.
Then came the allegation that rocked everyone. According to reports that surfaced later, someone in the office allegedly caught Kirk in a compromising position with Diddy. Gene Deal himself said he was stunned when he heard what Kirk was now publicly claiming. He couldn't even find words at first.
He said people keep pretending like all of the stuff that they hear about Diddy is something that's new. He's been doing these things. He's a witness to offenses that happened over 30 years ago.
Deal later admitted he'd known about these allegations for years, but chose to stay silent, waiting for Kirk to speak first. And that's the thing people keep missing. Kirk was there from the very beginning. He witnessed things more than 3 decades ago, during Diddy's most formative years. If what he's alleging is true, then he knows Diddy better than almost anyone. Jaguar said this is why Kirk's testimony might be the most significant we've seen so far, because he's not just confirming rumors, he's verifying what's allegedly been whispered behind closed doors this entire time.
It was kind of interesting. They said he didn't smoke and he didn't drink, but throughout all the Biggie's promo, every time you saw him, he had a bottle of champagne. They was drinking Moet all the time. You know, so I guess they don't consider cases of champagne and everybody having their own bottle and drinking out of their own bottle like it was a 40 ounce. I guess they don't consider that drinking, but I mean, I digress.
There was a part where he was going back and forth with Andre Harrell, and he was saying, "I'm gonna be drunk and high by Wednesday." I don't know. So I'm like, it seemed like the ship happened quickly when it comes to being introduced into this thing, you know, into this industry. So he's technically he might be.
But Jaguar didn't stop there. She started pointing out inconsistencies in the documentary, especially when it came to Diddy's early life. The doc claimed he didn't smoke or drink, but Jaguar says that's not what the footage shows. Throughout all of Biggie's promo runs, Diddy was allegedly seen with bottles of champagne constantly. She said they were drinking Moet all the time, and if you go back and watch, everyone had their own bottle. So either the documentary got that wrong, or someone was trying to paint a cleaner picture than what actually existed.
I believe that he was victimized, and I think it happened long before the industry. You know, people really don't want to look closer into his childhood and to what his mama had going on in the house. God knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, you know, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say, for her after-hour life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus trip. No, was he surprised or was he like, zip it, you talking too much? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting there, oh, because I was a bus driver and I was this, and I worked at the after hours. And I would pour them drinks and they would give me big tips.
She did say it just like that. Big tips. You know,
big tips and spend cheese.
In Sean's own words, in Diddy's own words, he had said he had a sigh of relief learning that he was the son of a hustler or a gangster. Like he wanted that status. He wanted to say that he was like a sigh of relief is a wild thing to say, that your daddy was a gangster or a hustler, or that's what you heard that he was.
Well, I mean, like Tim said, they had a bunch of blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who.
Then Jaguar went even deeper into Diddy's childhood. She believes he might have been victimized long before the industry ever got to him, possibly even as a child. And the reason she thinks that has to do with his mother's lifestyle. According to Jaguar, Diddy's mom allegedly ran what sounded like an after-hours spot out of their home, and there were all kinds of people coming and going. Strangers, hustlers, people involved in activities that no child should be around. Jaguar said it's possible Diddy saw things, or worse, experienced things that shaped everything that came after.
The fact that, you know, that they have this footage and however they got it, the fact that it exists is like, Diddy, why would you even start recording this? Like, why would you even give us this leverage to even put this thing out? Please, give us some tips. Well, I wouldn't call it leverage, but go ahead.
Well, the whole point of him filming this whole thing was because I'm sure that he planned on doing his own documentary. This is an extreme narcissist you're talking about. Extreme. He's sitting there with feds, and I shot away from his hotel suite, filming his hotel room, and he's looking at them and he's filming them right back. He's literally saying in certain parts, yeah. Make sure you're filming all of this because we need to get some, some cutaway shots.
That's wild. That's wild.
No, he was literally, did nobody pay attention to that?
Oh, I saw.
Like he said, yeah. Make sure you're filming all of this. We need this for cutaways. Like you're sitting here collecting footage, like a director, like an AD.
She pointed out that Diddy grew up watching blaxploitation films, seeing pimps and hustlers glorified, with no stable male figures around. Basketball players, hustlers, models, all of them allegedly coming through the house late at night. Jaguar said that kind of environment shapes a kid's perception of what's cool, what's powerful, and what's acceptable. And when Diddy found out his father was a hustler who got arrested, turned informant, and went to prison, he didn't seem devastated. He seemed relieved. He wanted that legacy. He wanted to be the son of a gangster. That's a wild thing to take pride in, but according to Jaguar, that's exactly how he saw it.
Got a lawyer like Mark Agnafilo who is orchestrating your possible surrender because, as you heard him say in the beginning of the documentary, he was very clear. It's almost the middle of September and there's no indictment. As you heard Diddy say, I've been an exemplary client like you've asked. You said I've been an excellent client. I came here. I did everything you asked me to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're literally having this conversation.
Yeah, in that conversation, Diddy was worried about the outlook of the public versus the victims.
The outlook of the public. Oh, he was worried a lot more than that. You don't think? He literally sat there and said, we need comms. He's sitting there talking like an evil dictator. We need comms. We need a way into this conversation. We're losing, he said. We're losing. Losing what? What are you losing? But the key words that he said that were so important were, we need to be able to be speaking to the potential jurors.
Now here's where it gets even stranger. The documentary opens with something truly bizarre. Diddy filmed the federal raid on his hotel. He wasn't hiding, he wasn't scared, he was literally recording everything. And if you listen closely to the footage, he's telling people to make sure they're getting cutaway shots, like he's directing a movie. Jaguar said this wasn't some panicked decision. This was classic Diddy, a narcissist who believed he could control the entire narrative. She thinks he was planning to make his own documentary, one where he'd be the hero, the misunderstood mogul fighting back against the system.
You might only be the guy that watches CNN, but there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them are on Instagram or TikTok. We need to have control of that. He said we need to know how these potential jurors are thinking. That's what he said.
Facts.
So what does that mean? He hadn't even been arrested yet. He hadn't even been taken into custody yet. Damian Williams hadn't come forward yet with a list of the charges that they were charging him with and what they were taking him to trial for. That didn't happen until December.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, they were losing? Losing what? Losing at what? We need we need to have control of comms. We need to make sure that we know how the potential jurors are thinking.
Very true.
How does that not sound like anything other than what it is? They were looking to infect the jury pool as early as possible. They were hoping to infect the jury pool, to see a lawyer sitting on the phone, having a conversation with a man who was about to be charged with some of the most heinous acts known in.
But what really caught Jaguar's attention wasn't just the filming, it was what Diddy and his lawyer were saying while the cameras were rolling. According to her, Diddy's attorney allegedly told him there was no indictment yet, even though it was mid-September. And Diddy, sounding frustrated, said he had been an exemplary client, that he had done everything they asked. But then the conversation took a darker turn.
Did a walk around, so I walked around the top of the floor, went down the steps and went in the gym, and then came across the gym, and I seen that you can go up the steps and be right there at the front door. So everybody was coming in. You seen Dougie Fresh, Red Alert. They was on the mic. People start coming in and everything. It was cool. And then when LL Cool J and Mike Tyson showed up, that shit must have went pandemonium. They must have broke through the first doors where the FOIs was and came to the door where we was inside at. And it was a glass door that they were crowded at in the glass door, and people were steady pushing the people through the door, whereas that they pushed the people so hard that the glass broke and people fell through the glass doors at the top of the stairs. And when people fell through the door at the top of the store, we grabbed this girl. You know, she was pregnant. We later found out that was Father MC's baby's mother. And she died that day with her baby inside her. And you could see that she was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? She had to be like 6 or 7 months pregnant. So we grabbed her and helped her up. And then she ended up going downstairs when we had got her out the way. So they got trapped down the stairs. After they broke through the first glass, they got trapped downstairs through the second door because Jessica had got scared. That was Puffy partner at the time, Jessica Rosenberg. She got scared, ran downstairs with the money box and shut the door behind her. And all those people got shut down in there and got trapped.
Right. 9 people died that day. 29 others were injured. And I guess Nice and Smooth's bodyguard was one of the people that got.
My man, let me tell you something. That dude was about 6'4". He had a white t-shirt on, I think, with khaki pants. I was over there trying to resuscitate him, and I was like...
Diddy allegedly said they were losing. Losing what? The public narrative. And then, according to Jaguar, he said they needed to reach the potential jurors, that they needed to know how people on Instagram and TikTok were thinking. This was before he'd even been arrested. No charges had been filed yet, and he was already allegedly trying to figure out how to influence a jury pool. Jaguar said that's jury tampering, plain and simple, and it should have raised every red flag imaginable. But here's the thing. When you have money and power, those flags don't always get seen.
Putting his business in his mother's name, and the U.S. attorneys trying to go after Rico, that he used his business as an enterprise to do these sexual deviant things.
Yeah.
Technically, if he's just getting, let's say, small payments from his mom, he's not technically using the business. Do you think that they barked up the wrong tree to even lose this trial based on him saying that, hey, I'm not even the owner of Bad Boy. I'm just let's say, an employee who just gets payments to do little small things? Shouldn't they have realized that or noticed all right, we can't trace the money back to the owner of Bad Boy?
Well, see, that's the thing. That was for Kurt Burrow's case. What about now? Because Combs Enterprise, all of it is not owned by Janice Combs. His name is on stuff. A lot of stuff. Like a lot of these things that happen, it's not like back then it was Bad Boy, Combs Enterprise. There's a bunch of different stuff that falls up underneath that umbrella. And it ain't all in Janice's. It's not all in Janice's name. It's not. Good portion of it is, but not all. Like people have to be weary about anybody who goes through this much trouble to evade responsibility and financial liability. Because even if it's not all in his name, even if it isn't all him, even if it were all in his mother's name, then that would mean that his mother is the one that's running the criminal organization, and she's been aiding and abetting his very sick behavior for decades.
Hey.
It sounds like they should have made sure that she was added to everything.
Hey.
That's the case. Because if he's just an employee and he's just being paid for his services, then that means that all of this stuff was going on up underneath her nose, and there's no way she didn't know about it. She was involved and present for too much.
She also brought up something most people have forgotten, the 1991 City College stampede. 9 people died that day. 29 others were injured, and it all happened because of overcrowding at an event Diddy was promoting. Jaguar compared it to the Travis Scott Astroworld tragedy, but the difference is Diddy allegedly protected himself financially before it even happened. He put Bad Boy Records in his mother's name, so when the lawsuits came, they couldn't touch his assets. That's not an accident, that's strategy. Gene Deal, who was there that night, described the scene in horrifying detail. He talked about a pregnant woman who died, about people getting trampled, about glass doors shattering and bodies piling up at the bottom of a staircase.
It wasn't mentioned at all in any of this documentary.
Not at
He
all.
was there for so much of it. Because right after the diddler beat the crap out of Steve Stout, the Jigga Man poked up on Rivera. Not long after that. All of this stuff happened around the same time.
Why do you think Jay-Z wasn't involved in none of this?
Well, I mean, he was involved in a lot of it. You mean why wasn't he mentioned?
Yeah, mentioned in the documentary at all.
I mean, there was a lot of people that weren't mentioned. Matter of fact, not too many people in the industry were mentioned who were there and present. Isn't that cute?
Very true.
They found a way to tell that story while they kept everybody else.
Jaguar said the fact that no one was truly held accountable for that tragedy set a precedent. It showed Diddy he could get away with things, that he could insulate himself legally while chaos unfolded around him. And placing his business in his mother's name wasn't just about protecting assets, it was about creating legal distance. But here's the uncomfortable question Jaguar raised. If everything was in her mother's name and she was listed as the owner, then technically wouldn't she be liable? And if she knew what was allegedly going on, wouldn't that make her complicit?
You had an issue with the way Diddy was treating him, right?
I just think Puff, he needs to be a stand-up man, man. That dude sat up there and did that time for you or nothing like that. Then you got this man living down there in police, living all fucking bad, man. It seems like you just leaving people for dead, man. Shit wrong, dude. Gene Deal complaining about you. I'm complaining about you. You ain't. I heard one of my homies from 30. I heard he get every quarter he get clothes, all this shit. Then you get this other dude a brand new Benzo or Maybach. Another piece of the record company. God damn, homie. I was on top of the world till I met your motherfucker ass, dude. Shit is wrong, dude. Come on, homie. I need something. Throw a dog a bone or something. Sit up there talking about you, daddy love. Show us some love. Man, you know what I'm saying? There's ways around that, homie. Throw my kids something. Throw somebody kids something. God damn. Daddy love. You ain't no love. That ain't love at all. That's some bull. That ain't cool, dude. You know what I'm saying? Swear, man. Gene Deal, Sean, TVD, just everybody, man. God damn. You just leave bad tastes in everybody's mouth, man. Come on, homie. Damn. You forgot where you come from. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm like some grass and shit. You know I was in jail. Nigga, he ain't throw a nigga noodle. What you call that shit? Just put the hot water on, man. God damn. Yeah. Life ain't been the same, bro. Man, shit. I was getting 300 kilos a month, man. Balling, man. Didn't nobody know about me. My shit was smooth, dude. My shit was laid out smooth, man. I bet your motherfucker and all the heat and thunder come around with your motherfucker.
Then Jaguar started talking about what the documentary didn't cover. She said it's interesting how certain names were completely left out. Names like Jay-Z and Clive Davis, two people who were allegedly around for a lot of what happened. Jay-Z was there during the Steve Stout incident. He was around during the height of Bad Boy's run, but the doc barely mentioned him. Jaguar said it's almost like they found a way to tell the story while keeping everyone else clean. And that's the part that bothers her the most, because if this is really about accountability, then why are only certain people being held to the fire?
I'ma drug them out and pimp them out to my niggas. They keep with me. And he was talking about Danny Duquesne as a group. He didn't single out any one of them. But to hear that he did it, that shit is crazy to me. We had a big argument and we started talking about each other and what niggas had and what he didn't have. He was calling me, yo, you broke cop. Just like, nigga, you ain't got nothing I ain't got. I got a watch, you got a watch. I got a ring, you got a ring, I got a chain, I got a home. We went through that whole shit like that. I started talking about his teeth. You understand? I started talking about, him, his breath, everything. We was going at each other. That next day at his house, he said, yo, Gene, he called me upstairs. And he said, yo, Gene, I couldn't talk to him like that no more in front of people and everything like that. Because I know me and Puff go back from the same game since 89, 90 when he got jumped in it. You understand? We go back way to that time. So I knew him. You understand? He was like a little nephew. So when he started talking that shit to me, I said, yo, listen here, bro. You don't say shit about me, I won't say shit about you. If you say something, you open up your mouth about me, I'm going to talk about all your green dentures and all that shit like that. We're not playing them games, bro. Money, do you understand what I'm saying? I heard him say that he was going to drug them out and pimp them out to his niggas. And then to hear the text message that she was drugged out and he was having sex, that shit hurts, bro. That shit is fucked up. Do you know how fucked up that is, bro? I heard this nigga say this shit out of his mouth. But to know that he was doing it, that shit was crazy to me. It makes you feel sick, bro. Because I guess I wasn't looking for it. But to see her pain and to see that she had to experience some shit like that, bro, and then the nigga was doing a lot of that shit right under your nose with the days that you wasn't working or the days that you left early or you wasn't around. This shit is crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro, because he know I wasn't that type of dude. You understand? And he tries everybody. He tries everybody. I'm not saying he never tried me. He tried me.
And then there's the Tupac situation. Keith D., alleged suspect in Tupac's murder, recently called Diddy out publicly, saying he did time and Diddy never showed him any loyalty, never sent money, never checked in. He said other people got paid, other people got taken care of, but he was left in the cold. He said Diddy talks about love, but where's the love when it counts? It's a chilling message, especially coming from someone allegedly tied to one of the biggest unsolved cases in hip-hop history. But maybe the most disturbing part of all this is what Gene Deal said about the Danity Kane situation. He claimed that years ago, during an argument, he heard Diddy say he was going to drug them out and pimp them out. At the time, Gene thought it was just talk, but then Aubrey O'Day came forward in the documentary with allegations that matched exactly what Gene had heard all those years ago. Gene said it made him sick because he realized it had been happening right under his nose on the days he wasn't working or the nights he left early. He said Diddy tries everyone, and he admitted Diddy even tried him once. So here's what we're left with. A documentary that allegedly exposes a lot, but according to Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal, still leaves out the most important pieces. The names that should have been mentioned weren't. The financial structures that protected Diddy for decades barely got explored. The environment that allegedly shaped him, the childhood trauma, the industry enablers, all of it got a light touch. Jaguar said the federal government doesn't miss things like this. They just choose what to pursue. She compared it to Al Capone, someone everyone knew was guilty, but they only charged him with tax evasion because going after the bigger crimes would have exposed too many other powerful people. Maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe the full story is still being protected, because if it all came out, it wouldn't just take down one person, it would take down an entire system. So the real question is, how deep does this really go, and who else is still being protected? Drop your thoughts below, because this story is far from over.